Marilyn Monroe. Just her name conjures up images of Hollywood glamour, timeless beauty, and a life that seemed like a fairy tale. But behind the dazzling smile and the iconic white dress, there was a much darker, more complicated story, a story that powerful people went to great lengths to keep hidden. Today, we're pulling back the curtain and diving deep into the secret FBI files on Marilyn Monroe. What was the government so afraid of? And what secrets did she take to her grave? This isn't just another Hollywood story. This is a tale of power, politics, and paranoia that reaches the highest levels of the American government. Let's start with a fact that might surprise you. For years, Marilyn Monroe was under intense surveillance by the FBI and even the CIA. Why would America's top intelligence agencies be so interested in a movie star? The answer lies not in her films, but in her private life, specifically her relationships. It's no secret that Marilyn was linked to some of the most powerful men of her time, including President John F. Kennedy and his brother, Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy. These weren't just casual flings, were deep, complex, and potentially dangerous liaisons. The FBI, under the notoriously meticulous J. Edgar Hoover, was obsessed with anything that could be used as leverage or blackmail against political figures. Monroe's intimate knowledge of the Kennedys' lives, both personal and political, made her a person of extreme interest. The FBI files, which we'll explore in detail, are filled with reports from informants, wiretaps, and surveillance logs. They tracked her movements, listened to her phone calls, and documented her every meeting. They were building a case, but a case for what? The official line was national security, but the deeper you dig, the more it looks like a campaign of intimidation and control. One of the most alarming aspects of the surveillance was its focus on Marilyn's political leanings. In the thick of the Cold War, any perceived sympathy towards communism was a red flag. Marilyn's marriage to the playwright Arthur Miller, who himself had been investigated for communist ties, put her squarely on the FBI's radar. They were desperate to prove she was a fellow traveler or even a spy. Informants reported on conversations she had at parties, books she read, and charities she supported. The files paint a picture of a woman who was intellectually curious and compassionate. But in the paranoid eyes of the FBI, this was twisted into something sinister. They were watching her, not just because of who she was sleeping with, but because of what she was thinking. Think about the pressure. You're one of the most famous women in the world, your every move scrutinized by the public and the press. But on top of that, or at least you suspect, that the government is listening to your most private conversations. This constant surveillance took a heavy toll on Marilyn's already fragile mental state. Friends reported that she became increasingly paranoid, convinced her house was bugged and that she was being followed. Is it paranoia, or was she simply seeing the truth that everyone else was trying to deny? The files confirm her fears were very real. Connections don't stop with the Kennedys. The declassified documents also reveal alleged ties to other controversial figures, including mobster Sam Giancana, through her acquaintance with Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack. The FBI was concerned that Marilyn could be a conduit, a channel through which sensitive information from the White House could flow into the hands of organized crime. Imagine that web of connections: the President of the United States, the Attorney General, a Hollywood icon, and a powerful mafia boss. It sounds like the plot of a movie, but for the FBI, it was a potential national security crisis. They feared that Marilyn, whether willingly or unwittingly, was at the center of a dangerous game, with stakes far higher than any movie role. This intense scrutiny reached a fever pitch in the months leading up to her death in August 1962. By then, her relationships with the Kennedys had reportedly soured. According to some sources documented in these files, she felt used and discarded. She began making desperate late-night phone calls to the White House and the Justice Department, calls that were often ignored. She allegedly threatened to hold a press conference to go public with everything she knew. She had kept diaries, what she called her little red books, where she supposedly detailed her intimate conversations with the most powerful men in the country. To the Kennedys and to J. Edgar Hoover, a press conference like that would have been a political atomic bomb. And then suddenly, she was gone. On August 5, 1962, Marilyn Monroe was found dead in her Brentwood home. The official cause of death was acute barbiturate poisoning, ruled a probable suicide. The case was closed, the story neatly wrapped up. But from the very beginning, there were inconsistencies. Unanswered questions that have haunted investigators and the public for decades. The timeline of events on the night she died is murky. Witnesses gave conflicting statements. Key evidence, including those infamous red diaries, vanished from the scene before the official investigation even began. Who had the power and the motive to orchestrate such a cleanup? This is where the recently declassified files become absolutely chilling. While they don't offer a single smoking gun that solves the case, they reveal the extent of the cover-up and the frantic activity within the government in the hours and days following her death. One heavily redacted FBI document, dated just days after her passing, discusses the need to quash any rumors of Robert Kennedy's involvement. It details a plan to push the suicide narrative and discredit anyone who suggested otherwise. Why would the FBI be so invested in managing the public relations of a movie star's death, unless there was something much bigger to hide? Another bombshell from the files is an intercepted communication, suggesting that Robert Kennedy himself may have been in loss. Angelus on the day Marilyn died, despite official records placing him elsewhere. The document alleges a confrontation occurred, a desperate attempt to retrieve incriminating materials from her home. This has never been officially proven, but its presence in an internal government document is explosive. It suggests that the official story we've been told is, at best, incomplete and, at worst, a deliberate fabrication. The files also document the strange case of her psychiatrist, Dr. Ralph Greenson. FBI reports show that he was a central figure in the hours surrounding her death, but his account of the evening changed multiple times. Furthermore, wiretaps on other individuals mention a plot to induce Marilyn's suicide by arranging for her to get a large number of pills and staging the scene. This wasn't just about watching her anymore. The documents hint at a potential shift from passive surveillance to active interference. Could powerful forces have nudged her towards the edge, or even pushed her over? The story doesn't end there. We see a systematic effort by Hollywood studios and powerful fixers to control the narrative. They worked in concert with political figures to protect their stars, their brands, and their secrets. Marilyn wasn't just an actress, she was an asset. And when that asset became a liability, she was neutralized, one way or another. Her story became a cautionary tale, a warning to anyone who got too close to power. The Hollywood machine, which had built her up into a goddess, played a role in burying the truth about her demise. So what are we left with? We have a woman who is intelligent, ambitious, and deeply entangled in the treacherous worlds of Washington politics and the Hollywood elite. We have an FBI that watched her every move, not for national security, but for political blackmail. And we have a death shrouded in mystery, with missing evidence, conflicting testimonies, and official documents that reveal a concerted effort to control the story. The secret files may not give us all the answers, but they confirm our darkest suspicions. Marilyn Monroe was not just a tragic victim of fame and depression. She was a player in a dangerous game, a woman who knew too much, and who may have paid the ultimate price for it. Her death was not the simple end of a sad story. It was the final act in a conspiracy of silence. A secret that Hollywood and Washington have tried to keep buried for over 60 years. The files prove that the truth is often far more shocking than fiction. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of history's most enduring mysteries. If you found this as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content that uncovers the hidden stories behind the headlines. What do you think really happened to Marilyn? Let me know your theories in the comments below. See you in the next video.